Hey everybody, it's John G with the Shelter Hole. Man, it's been a while. Hey, you guys haven't heard much from me. Had a total knee replacement done this year, and today is week 6 anniversary, baby. So far so good. I had ACL surgery on that knee 25 years ago, and the arthritis and just a little more out got me. So thing about it is, I just couldn't stand the pain anymore, so I went in and got a knee replacement, and hey, we'll run this baby in the ground, and when we wear it out, we'll go get another one, right? So anyway, the prior surgeries kind of set me back a little bit on my recovery, but man, we're still very positive and looking forward to being back to work soon, hopefully around the first of the year. Anyway, look, man, I couldn't stand back and not say anything anymore. There's just so much going on. But before I get in there, just want to let you guys know why I changed from Big John's Lawn over to the Shelter Hole. I want to be more than just lawn care. There's guys out there doing that every day. I mean, I'm not a lawn care expert. I'm not an expert of anything, really. I'm one of them jack of all trades, master of none. I got I don't have a formal degree, but I do have 3 or 4 masters and at least 6 doctorates from the School of Hard Knocks, the degree that hurts. Yeah, I've got all kinds of those. So I changed it over to the Shelter Hole. My dad coal mined for 36 years. Coal mining's been in my family for years. So the Shelter Hole is a place where you seek shelter or refuge in time of emergency underground in a coal mine. And that's where the Shelter Hole comes from. And then, look, man, in the day and times that we're in right now, we all need a shelter hole to go to. We all need a place of sanctuary that we can go to, whether it be a book, whether it be a real good movie, whether it be a long walk or a hike or a bike ride, lifting weights, sitting in a sauna, whatever yours may be, shooting your gun, going to the range, watching prep videos, going fishing, going camping. We all have to find that refuge that shelter hole that we can go to let us reboot. Mike Glover talked a little bit about this on the email and a message that he put out today. Finding a way to kind of do a reset I'm not going to use that because it's in the government right now. Not to reset. No, we're not going there. A place where you can go and recharge. A place where you can go and just totally relax and get away from everything. So that's really what the Shelter Hole is going to be about. I'd like to give you guys a little bit of my military background. So I went in, I signed up on delayed entry at 17, age 17. Mom and dad, or my dad and my stepmom, they signed the paperwork. I went to, September of 1982, I went to San Diego Naval Training Center, where I went through boot camp. I went in as a bosun's mate. And there's more to all this that I will share at a later date. There's just too much. I can't get into all of it anyway. And the reason why I joined was because I wanted to get married. In West Virginia in 1982, dude, there wasn't anything. You had 3 choices. You either went to college, you either went in the military, or you moved out of state. You had to have somewhere to go. I didn't have nowhere to go out of state. And I didn't have the grades to go to college. I had an offer from a coal company to go to college and play football. and but I couldn't get in because of my grades. They were going to pay my way the whole 9 yards. They were one of the largest money contributors to this university in West Virginia, and told me that if I would go up there and play, that they'd pay my way. They just wanted to kind of say they had somebody up there, but I didn't have the grades. So military, here I come. So my first ship was out of Concord, California. It was an ammunition supply ship, the USS Shasta AE-33, which has now been made into Razor Blades. Did get married. When we got back off of the Westpac, my wife and I had a daughter. Got married, wife and I had a daughter. She was in 1984. She was born with what's called trisomy 22 16q. I got a humanitarian transfer back to West Virginia out of California so the family could help us. Danielle passed shortly thereafter, after having open heart surgery at West Virginia University Hospital. I was actually stationed at the Reserve Center in South Charleston. We wanted to get away from family and everybody where it was just us, so I went to Scotland to the USS Hunley, AS-31 out of Holy Loch. We lived there for 2 years. That's where our oldest, Richie, was born. Healthy guy. I mean, we have 2 boys, Chad and Rich. So when I left there, I had the same detailer. In the Navy, you call a detailer to get your orders, and the same detailer that helped me with my humanitarian transfer, my orders to Scotland, was still there when it came time for me to leave Scotland. While I was in Scotland, there was a guy showed up there, brought his boat there, and my lieutenant said, "Gary, you need to talk to this guy. This is the duty you need." So, long story short, called my detailer, and I ended up at SBU 20, where I became a boat captain of a special warfare craft for a couple of years. I left there after a couple of years and pulled my shore duty at the Bethesda Naval Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, and at 9 years, 2 months and 12 days, I called it a career. I always said if I went over the 10-year mark, I'd make it a career. Reason why I got out was that was the time that President Bush Sr. was in. He was closing bases all over the place. He closed the Naval Shipyard in Charleston. He shut down the base in Holy Loch, Scotland, where I was for 2 years, and brought it back. They weren't doing any. I wanted to cross rate, and they weren't letting anybody cross rate. And I had taken the E6 exam a couple of times, and the detailer told me, said, Petty Officer Garrett, the only way you're going to get E6 is if you go back to sea. And I said, I'm not going to do it. Not as a bosun's mate. You just don't see your family. And there's another reason why I'll tell you here in just a second. So, the military is a great thing. But what happened to me was I got spoiled. Well, what do you mean, Big John? I went to SBU 20. Now, you got to understand something. The SWCC units, the Special Warfare Combat Craft units, those guys are different today than they were in 1988 or 1986 and 1988 or 89. They were totally now they're their own job designation. You actually they have a school set up sort of like BUDS that you have to go through to actually be part of a special boat unit now. And whenever I was there, you didn't do that. You just went there as normal duty. Now, our CO of that boat unit was a SEAL. Our corpsman there was a SEAL. The guy that was over all of our training was a Navy SEAL. And we deployed with Navy SEALs. We what we did was we inserted and extracted Navy SEALs. We pulled the SDVs. It's the 2 4-man subs that they have. We pulled it around, and we deployed with them. I did a 6-month deployment with those guys, and here's the problem with that. Though we weren't UDT, though we weren't Navy SEALs, we still had just about all their privileges. We got to go to a lot of the schools that they got to go to. We carried, a lot of us carried security clearances, especially as a boat captain. You'd carry a top secret security clearance. And it was just, when you get exposed to the special forces side of the military, special operations side of the military, it is virtually impossible. Now, some guys have done it. I was stationed with guys that retired. They left there and went and retired somewhere else. They loved the regular Navy. I couldn't do it. I got spoiled. And I wanted, when I left there and went to pull my shore duty at the Naval Hospital in Bethesda, I wanted to pull my hair out. I thought I was gonna croak. I didn't think that 2 years was ever going to end fast enough. So, I was young. When I left there, I was 26 years old when I left the Special Boat Unit. And I met some great people there, some of which I'm still connected with today. Matter of fact, one of the SEALs that I used to sit on the flight deck and talk to during our deployment, I've connected with Randy Beausoleil. I've reconnected with Randy. I'm hoping to get to see Randy sometime in the near future. He lives in Texas. I'm not real sure. The other guy that I got to be really good friends with, Ted Moreland, I found out that Ted was killed in a training accident several years back, and that's just tragic. So you get to know these guys, and the guys you get to know at the boat unit, and still connected with those guys today. So I say all this, just to kind of give you some background of where I'm going. So now a lot of the videos or the podcasts or the YouTube channels that I watch have a lot to do with Special Forces guys, Navy SEALs, Green Berets. It can be TACPs, anything to do with special operations or Special Forces. And I guess I like their attitude. Their never quit attitude and just the way that they present themselves and what they've been through and what they've sacrificed to do. So whenever I hear that these guys are being censored on these social media sites, when I'm watching their content and I'm thinking, why are they getting censored? This makes no sense. Mike Glover, Fieldcraft Survival. I'm wearing his stuff now, his hat and his shirt. All Mike does, he's a prepper. That's it. None of these guys are promoting violence or anything. They're not that. Sean Ryan with Vigilance Elite. I've never seen anything on Sean's podcasts or videos that have ever given me any reason to say, yeah, man, he's going to get censored. And another one, Frog Logic Institute with Dave Rutherford. I can't believe, he's a motivational speaker. He's a former Navy SEAL, maybe that's what it is. But it's my wife and I were talking today, and she's like, John, why is it that it seems like all these Special Forces guys, or Spec Op guys, they're all getting censored? What's up with this? I said, Ev, I have no idea, honey. I said, but it's very strange and peculiar to me that they're all having to leave they can't be on Facebook anymore. They can't be on Instagram anymore. What's the other one? YouTube is still carrying some of them. Some of them have been Don Shipley bust people for stolen valor. YouTube cut him off years ago. So Oh, Twitter's the other one. So here's what I've done. I've gone to Rumble. I tried MeWe. It was kind of clunky. Maybe I might try it again. But I'm definitely on Parler. I know that Mike Glover, he's on Parler, but he doesn't use it a whole lot. He says he doesn't like it because he feels like they censor the left like the left was censoring the right. I don't know about all that, man. I'm not on there enough to really know. But Mike is on locals.com, his American Contingency and Fieldcraft Survival. He does that from locals.com. And that's cool. I'll go there. I like it. Rutherford, I mean, I'll just go to his website. Same thing with Sean Ryan. I love what these guys are doing and the stories that the guys that they're interviewing and the stories that they're telling that need to be told. Because, and I get so passionate about this, and here's why. I've got a 36-year-old son who's a JTAC. He spent a tour in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. And I know my son. And I see the effect that has had on his life. Now, Richie's not screwed up by any stretch of the imagination, but he's different. And everybody can see that. But he's still a very loving father. He's still a very loving husband, caring, nurturing. He's still, Rich is still active duty. And he does a great job. He loves what he does. And I'm tickled to death that he's still in there. Our youngest, is a cybersecurity specialist stationed out of Langley. So then when you look on top of that, I had a great-great-grandfather, Uncle Dyke Garrett, served in the Civil War. He was also a circuit preacher through the Appalachian Mountains, baptized Devil Anse Hatfield of the Hatfield McCoy. That's another story anyway. Then I had my Uncle Gene served in World War II, drank himself to death when he came back. My grandparents, my dad's mother and father used to they didn't have wedding rings. They wore rings that he got off of German soldiers and brought back was their wedding rings, is what they had. Then I had my Uncle Dan, my Uncle Donnie, my Uncle Frank, my Uncle Roger, all served in Vietnam. Now, they all came back very, very, very fortunate. We are just truly blessed that all 4 uncles go there and come back. I've got a cousin who was a Navy SEAL, was part of the Grenada thing. I'm not sure what all Dave was part of. And then I served, my kids are serving now. And it just frustrates me to no end that you have these tech idiots, these numbskulls that have no idea what it's like to sacrifice for this country, to give us the rights for free speech, to have the Second Amendment rights to bear arms. The sacrifices that families have made, even back to the Civil War, to free slaves, and to give those folks a better way of life today. Look where they are. Now listen, I don't live in a cheap neighborhood, and I'm not bragging, but I'm going to tell you right now, man, I have got a very diverse selection of neighbors here in my neighborhood, and so I'm so thankful that I live in a country that gives these people the opportunity, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your nationality, regardless of your age, regardless of who or what you worship. That you can be something in this country. It's the last one, guys. This is it. And if we allow these bunch of lunatics to steal an election, and listen, you don't have to be a nuclear physicist or an IT genius to be able to see what they've done. I mean, it's very obvious. Even Joe Biden goes out there and says, we've developed the greatest team for election fraud in the history of the United States. He admitted it, but you don't hear anything about it. So I had to come out. Mike Rutherford said, use your platform. Well, no matter what platform you got to use it. You've got to get, everybody needs to stand up and say something. And I tell you what, man, I've just had it. I couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore. I can't sit back knowing what my family has sacrificed, knowing what other families have sacrificed. You want to hear a little bit of sacrifice? Read Marcus Luttrell's book, Lone Survivor. Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a grown-ass man. And I think myself to be pretty tough. Let me tell you something. I read that book, and I had tears streaming down my eyes. Out of my eyes and down my cheeks. I boo-hooed like a baby reading that guy's book, man. It infuriates me. It infuriates me when these people, and all you got to do is go look and see what these rioters are like, Antifa, BLM. Go look at the people. Go look at the profiles where they get arrested. Look at these people. You know what the problem is? When, after my generation, or my dad and mom, they busted my ass. I don't know if anybody else out there knows what it's like to have a piece of Hot Wheel track taken across your ass. Or your dad say, you go pick your switch, cat. And you know when you go out there and you get your switch off of the tree or off of the bush, it better not be a small one, because if you come back with something small, you know what? Dad's going to go out and get a damn limb off that tree. Have a belt taken across your ass. You know what? There were consequences for our actions. In school, I had to be there and got my ass paddled I don't know how many times. Because I wasn't the model kid. I was a hellion, man. But you know what? That helped shape me. That helped correct me. That helped, that showed me, hey, guess what, John? You put a tack in the bottom of somebody's seat at school and they sit down on it, there's going to be consequences for that. You're going to get your ass busted. And I did. Yeah, I did that. So I see where these rioters are going out and they're just destroying cities. Destroying cities. Black Lives Matter, going out and rioting and destroying cities, destroying businesses of black people. Black citizens who have busted their ass to be something in this country, the land of opportunity. And their whole life's investment and hard work, and they go in and they burn it to the ground. Why? Why? Because you know why? There's no circumstances for their actions. You know why they go and steal an election? Because there's no consequences for their actions. You know why Hunter Biden can go and go overseas and get all this money from the Chicoms and from Russia and from Ukraine? Because there's no consequences for their actions. You know why Hillary Clinton can go and smash 4 or 5 cell phones and delete all these emails and destroy laptops? Because there's no consequences for people's actions. When people's ass start to go to jail, and they start slapping handcuffs on people, and they start giving them 3 hots in a cot, then some of this shit will change. Finally, hopefully, maybe. I've just had it, man. I'm sick of it. I busted my ass. Man, I came from nothing in West Virginia. My wife's dad used to sell coon hides to buy Christmas for them. They didn't have nothing, man. They made their palm dresses. Her and Ginger, I graduated with her older sister, Ginger. They made a lot of the clothes that they wore. They didn't have anything. I didn't have anything growing up. But you know what? I was poor and didn't know I was poor. I didn't care. But I did know that there was consequences for my actions. Was I perfect? Absolutely not. Got into stuff in high school I shouldn't have got into, and it kind of set me back. That's a story for another day. But you know what, man? It's no education in this world today. It's been hard getting to where I'm at today, but I've busted my ass to get here. And you know what? When you bust your ass to get someplace, you appreciate it when you get there. Have you ever noticed somebody that has a car or has a house or has something that they really didn't have to sacrifice or do anything to obtain? They never take care of it. They don't do anything with it. They don't appreciate it. Why? Because it didn't take any discipline to obtain it. They didn't have to sacrifice anything to get to where they are. Oh man, I know I'm ranting. I've got a few notes here. I'm trying to keep myself on track. So where do we go from here? Well, good cup of coffee. Find you some good friends, man. Stick by. You know, I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. Pastored a church for a few years. I've kind of sat back. It was when we departed there. It wasn't a good separation. I love the Lord. He knows I love Him. I know He loves me. But I'm going to tell you right now, man. The attack upon our church, the attack upon believers, the attack upon Christianity. It's biblical, baby. It's biblical. Do I believe Donald Trump is God's man? I do. But you know, if you read back through the Bible, there were some godly people that got crapped on because of some ungodly people. But those godly people didn't lose. They didn't lose their focus. They didn't lose their commitment. And a lot of them lost their lives. Am I saying we're going to be going back there? You know what, man? I really don't know. But I know one thing. You better be grounded in faith. Surround yourself with like-minded and like-faith folks. I've got Christian people live all around me here, my neighbors. Man, I'm so blessed. It's awesome. I mean, it's just so awesome. And I will tell you this, man. Read your Bible, man. I haven't been digging into that deep here lately, but it's something I need to do. I've been watching Unashamed with Phil and Jace Robinson here lately. It's great stuff, funny, but it's good stuff, man. I mean, where they go and what they say. I would like to give a shout out to. Well, I'm gonna wait to do that. Let me see here. That's why I got my notes, because I will chase rabbits. So I got off of Facebook back before all this censorship stuff started. I just couldn't handle it anymore, man. All the negativity, all the arguing, all the bickering. I couldn't handle it. So I killed my Facebook site. Man, I had pictures on there that I can't even get anymore. I have no idea. And I wish now that I would have saved them, but I didn't. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I ain't worried about it. I am so much more at peace without social media. Now, I am on Parler. I am on Rumble. I still watch YouTube. Some of these things that I watch, they're still available through YouTube. But my suggestion would be get off of social media. Well, John, I'm just one little person. I mean, what are we going to do? Well, I'll tell you what. MSNBC, CBS, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, What drives all that? Because we don't pay anything to use it, right? It's advertising. So if you're not on those sites or utilizing those sites anymore, guess what happens? You're not seeing the advertisement. Or if you see who's advertising on there, don't buy their products. But John, I like this stuff. I like what I like that product. I don't care. What means more to you, your freedom or buying a bag of potato chips of a certain brand or a certain brand shoe